I love you. Welcome back to the future, Couch Potatoes. Your present, our future, and as you're listening to this, our past. So, yeah.
Yeah? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's our future in that when the viewers listen to this,
it'll be
we'll be older.
Future.
But it'll be the present day for them.
Doing it in the past.
Yeah, we're doing it in the present, but it'll be in the past. It's in the past now.
No, you're gonna break my brain on purpose.
Time is difficult. Yeah, I am the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I am the Faceless Leon. And you kind of sounded like Marvin the Martian a little bit when you said that.
Oh, I wish I could. I used to be able to do a good Marvin the Martian voice.
It's pretty good.
But I can't
like
anymore.
it.
No, it's not good.
It's not
that good.
It's not bad.
It's pretty awful.
Okay, anyways, this is Green and Faceless on the Couch, a podcast about movies and TV. Welcome back to the couch. I loved what you...
Where's
that
the
was
kaboom?
Very good. Nice.
There's supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom.
About aliens, but there are some aliens. One in particular.
Are there now?
Yes, one in particular, Darth Vader. From the planet Vulcan.
From the planet Vulcan. We pissed everyone off. Everybody's out. We're done. We ain't listening to these fuckers anymore. But when you think about it, Darth Vader is an alien. Because to Earthlings, we consider pretty much anything from another planet to be an alien. He's from,
but that's
planet.
Legit in the movie. That's in the movie. That's in the first movie.
And Back to the Future.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Darth Vader's in Back to the Future.
Darth Vader from the planet Vulcan is in Back to the Future, played by Michael J. Fox.
God damn it! I do love that part though. It's funny. I love this whole fucking movie. I love everything about this trilogy.
Really good.
This is a potato pick.
Yes.
Every month we do a potato pick. If you want to be a part of it, all you gotta do is head down to patreon.com/greenandfaceless. You can sign up. I think our $5 tier is where you have the ability to pitch movies
make suggestions
for us to watch.
That is right, for the potato pick. So thank you very much for our patrons. Who suggested this one for us?
Gage suggested Back to the Future Trilogy Triumvirate. He likes them Trilogy Triumvirates. So he gave us the How to Train Your Dragon and now Back to the Future.
But that is okay. I actually quite enjoyed this.
I did too.
Segment
this is a nice pleasantry because having that ability to suggest movies to us, some could wield that power for evil.
That is true.
It's nice, and it's nice when they don't.
That's right. He has consistently given us pretty decent ones. At one point, he did suggest the Borat films, which that's fair. Plenty of people argue is torture, and then other people would argue that it is really good, and I would say both are true.
As you can find out by listening to our episode.
Yes, we already did an episode though, so we'll just leave that to you guys. I also found out how to include more. I've been searching for it for months because I knew it was possible, guys, and I finally figured it out. I figured out how to get more episodes on the different podcatchers out there. So you should have, I think, all of our episodes up there now. Up until that one that is called the New Year's Special, I don't know. It's rough, but it's worth trying.
We're finding our feet then.
Yeah, it's worth trying. And here we are. I don't know what episode number this is, but I think it's in the 200s.
Like 270 something. Yeah.
So
ridiculous.
Yeah. We're more
Where
in
has
the groove.
The time gone?
If you feel like it's very disjointed and hardly listenable, then you won't like those first few episodes.
This is what we do. We ramble and we roll. And somewhere in there, we talk about a movie or two.
Movies, yes. So,
or three.
Or three. Today we're talking about three, of course. So Back to the Future Part 2. It's parts, right? And Back to the Future Part 3.
Yeah, they went with simple naming scheme. I thank them for it so fucking much.
Yes, I know that really bothers you.
All three of these movies, the third one's a little, well, not a little, it's a lot different, but all three of these movies really do work as one long movie. Because in the timeline, you know, Marty played amazingly by Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly. Mm-hmm. From the very beginning of episode 1, of part 1, I mean, to the very end of part 3, literally only like 2 or 3 weeks has passed for Marty McFly. Like, his life has been going fucking crazy for a solid month. And, you know, it's you know, they do work as just one long-ass movie.
Right.
Like,
you know, though, you say like a solid month, and most of that time is in the third movie. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, the first one's just a week. And then not much time, I think, passes in the second one.
Not much time passes at all.
Yeah.
It's like a day and a half or something like that.
Yeah. So good. So well done. Let's dive into it. Let's talk the first one. The first one, I will say right out of the gate, just like with Raiders of the Lost Ark, I love it. It's utter perfection. Like, this is a childhood staple of mine. This was the era of films that got me very interested in wanting to make films. That interest has since kind of evaporated into wanting to just consume and, you know, talk about films. I still would like to work on movie sets. It's just, I need a full-time job. And it's hard to get into that industry, especially when you have anxiety and haven't worked on a movie set in a couple of years. Right. So it's, you know, it's been a while, but I loved working on sets. They were like some of the best experiences of my life. But all of that interest, all of that love for films came from this era because of Robert Zemeckis, Steven Spielberg, and all these other fuckers like that. Yep. And this one's Robert. This one's Robert Zemeckis, who will always be the creator of one of my favorite shots of cinema completely, which is the Contact mirror scene. You know, just go out and watch the movie Contact, or just type into YouTube mirror scene from Contact. That shot's amazing. That's brilliant. And Robert Zemeckis brings all of that brilliance, all of that creative brilliance into this movie. And it's fucking great. It's so fucking
really
great.
Good. I am also very much nostalgically charged.
That's true. Clearly I am too.
I would literally watch all three of these movies to fall asleep at night.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. At my father's house, because we had an earlier bedtime at his house than at my mother's, and I had a portable DVD player and headphones.
Nice.
So,
hell yeah.
So I would
90s
watch
kids.
Yeah, I would watch these movies so much that I would just be like, yeah, that's a good enough place to pause it, you know, and just pick up right where it left off and be like, yep, I knew exactly where we would be because I knew like all the scenes. And I even when we watched it, I said a couple of the lines half a second before the actor did.
Oh, I bet that pissed off your wife.
Yeah. Well, I tried to keep it to a minimum. It was like once a movie.
No, I feel the same way, specifically about the first one. I remember the first one really well. The second one, I mean, even though I've watched it pretty much the exact same amount of times, I think there's only been like 1 or 2 times in my life where I just watched the first one and called it good. I feel like if I'm going to watch the first one, I always watch all 3.
Sure.
But the second one is so similar to the first one, and that's its like main critique it always gets, is that it just rehashes the same story kind of. But I mean, we'll get to it when we get to it, but I think they do it in a really good way.
I do too.
But my memory does get warped by that being so close to the original that it's like when I try to think of the second one, I'll say something and be like, no, that's actually in the first one. Oops. You know, it's just like I forgot that actually it does happen in the first one. You know, but the third third one is just so different that it's just it sticks out like a sore thumb, but it's not a sore thumb. It's still good.
Right.
It definitely sticks out from the other three.
I think what is great about this series is that it knew that it was a goofy time travel movie while also taking the concept seriously. Yeah. It made a really good movie. And that last movie is like so self-aware. It's like
it's a little too much. I mean, I still like it. I really like it. But I will say, Robert Zemeckis sets up the time rules in the first movie. He sets up how time is going to react. How so Marty McFly, he's got a friend named Doc Brown, Dr. Emmett Brown, played by Christopher Lloyd, who is kind of like your wacky mad scientist, and thankfully he lives near Marty McFly, so that's kind of nice.
The role for Christopher Lloyd, in my opinion, that is Doc Brown.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, this is like if I were to try to think of like it would be this one, obviously, but then it's like his Mr. Purple from Clue.
Wait, no, not Mr. Purple. Plum.
No, he wasn't Professor Plum, was he? Though
he was.
He was. Was he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For some reason, I couldn't remember if he was or not. Because it's just like I said it, but then I was like, no, that doesn't sound right. But it's that, and then the villain from the Rabbit. What's it called? Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Who Framed Roger Rabbit? The guy. Oh man, I don't remember the character. He's like a judge.
Yeah, I don't remember the villain name.
He's Judge.
But it's just like those are the three roles for me for Christopher Lloyd, because it's just like when I think of the man, it's obviously Emmett Brown first. Like
there's this Disney Halloween movie, like phenomenal. Disney Channel movie.
Yeah, we watched that one.
It was like Good Ghouls. Grandpa that comes back from the dead. That's an iconic movie for me for some reason.
That's true. What's it called though? It's like where good ghouls die or something like that.
I don't know, something like that.
Well, I mean, we did it for the show. I thought. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it.
Did we?
We talked about.
I thought
we might have talked about it with. Well, I think we talked about it with Halloween Town, right? Because we did Halloween Town.
We did.
I thought we did like a nostalgic
Scooby Doo, and then something else.
Yeah, it might not have been where
I thought it was Hocus Pocus.
That's true. That's right. Oh well.
Oh, you made me scratch my brain so hard, and now we have to talk about time travel. We better get working on this. So,
I mean, it's hard, man. This is a hard job.
This is a hard job. We work all day, and then we come here and we work with our mouths. It's hard.
All right.
Actually,
I'll do my best here to be real quick about the synopsis. What did I just do? Oh my goodness. Anyways, my computer's fine.
Well,
I'm still recording. We're all good.
Okay.
I hit a button and things shifted on my computer. Anyways, Marty McFly has a friend, as I said, Doc Brown. Mm-hmm. And Doc Brown is working on his most recent amazing invention, which is a time travel machine.
That's right.
Which is also basically just a DeLorean that he has vamped up to be a time travel machine.
That's right.
And it's hilarious. The amount of success this movie has given to the DeLorean car, when I've heard from pretty much everybody that it's actually a shit car.
Oh, it is.
But so many people want a DeLorean.
Because of this movie. So bad. It's because of this movie.
Oh, yeah. I know it is. That's what I'm saying.
Because the guy wanted, like, right when it first came out, it was a little popular, but they were kind of lemons. You know,
like it's all on that door, man.
It's all in
that
the
beauty
door,
of the door swinging up.
And it was supposed to be like this rich genius guy that designed it, and he's not.
It was the car of the future.
He's not the aviator. He's not fucking. Help me out here. What is his fucking
Howard
name?
Hughes?
Howard Hughes. Thank you.
Yeah.
He thought he was Howard Hughes, and he just was not.
Oh my god! Yeah, this DeLorean though is pretty nice. Great.
Yeah,
it's souped up with a flux capacitor that helps him. That helps Doc Brown tap into the time stream and fly wherever he chooses to go. Yes. All he has to do is type in a date on his little computer, and poop, you got to get up to 88 miles an hour, and you're good. You go through the time stream.
The flux capacitor also runs on plutonium.
Thank you. That's right. The first movie's one does, at least.
It runs on X amount of gigawatts of electricity.
Yeah.
But he needs the plutonium to get that amount of power. And, they get out their little hazmat suits and refuel it. It's one tube of plutonium per go, which is just horrible.
Yeah.
Just horrible.
He fixes it. He works on it. He makes it better.
He does.
He makes it better.
But first he steals from terrorists.
Yeah, to get that plutonium, he does have to steal from the Libyans.
Who stole from the U.S. government.
So everybody's a thief.
And
He's doing the morally right thing.
We know how the U.S. government is about that shit. We grew up in Area 52, damn it.
I don't know what you're talking about. We signed NDAs.
Damn it, I forgot that was still going.
For 100 years.
Damn, how long is that? I wish I had a DeLorean.
Yeah, we have to wait until our publisher rights go away, so then, we're free market.
Oh, okay.
I think it's kind of like similar rules.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. Military rules are very much like IP laws.
Well, the problem with the first movie, with the story that is, what sets everything up is, as we said, he stole from Libyans, and they're kind of mad about that.
Yes.
So when he is testing his time machine, when he's showcasing it to the world, videotaping it with his young 17-year-old friend, who, it's whatever.
Yeah. I feel like he, broke Doc Brown's window one day with a baseball.
Yeah, right.
And, came in and Doc Brown just grabbed him and started using him as, his guinea pig for something. And he's just like, hey, Doc, what's going on?
It's like that very thing happened.
Uh-huh.
Or Doc Brown was just like, I remember you from my past, and so I'm going to invite you in for some coffee. And we became friends. And he forced this friendship because he knew that he was necessary for all the shit that he was doing.
Right.
Oh, there's so much. There's so much to think about in that regard.
There is. There is. But
yeah, the Libyans.
Marty goes back.
Yeah, they show up. They shoot up the scene. Doc Brown dies in front of Marty. And to escape, Marty jumps into the time machine and accidentally goes back to 1955.
From 1985 to 1955. Please never remake this movie.
Oh, God. I'll be so mad if they do.
Yeah. I mean, we have Rick and Morty, so that's the modern day interpretation, so...
Well, exactly, yeah. You don't need to remake this movie, you just need to make this movie. That's pretty much all everybody does, is they just have the wacky old guy paired with the younger assistant.
Yeah.
It's Doctor Who. It's really what it is.
That's true. That is true. It definitely feels like there's some influence here. Anyhow, Marty goes back to 1955, which is not only the year that Doc Brown discovers / thinks up the flux capacitor. It is also the year that his parents, being Marty McFly's parents, meet. And that is George McFly, played by Crispin Glover, and Lorraine, I forget her last name at this point, but
Lorraine
Baines, played by Leah Thompson. And so before you get back in time, you get performances of Crispin Glover and Leah Thompson as his parents, as well as, is it Thomas F. Wilson that plays Biff? Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Which...
Yeah.
Speaking of Thomas F. Wilson, if you look at his Wikipedia page profile, tell me that's not an older Gage. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, it does look like Gage. You'll have to look it up,
I showed him
Gage.
That.
Look at Thomas F. Wilson.
I showed him that earlier. I was just like, Gage, I found another celebrity doppelganger for you. And Gage was just like, well, let me see it. And I showed it to him. And he's like, I don't want to be Biff. I felt so bad.
But, really, though, really great chops. Because I did fucking hate Biff growing up. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. He's lovable to hate.
That's right. So in the present storyline, in the 1985 storyline, Biff it works in the same company as George. He's got him under his thumb and makes him do his job for him, and also borrows the car and wrecks it when Marty was supposed to use it for the weekend. To take out Jennifer, by the way. Do you have who plays Jennifer on hand?
Yeah, why isn't she listed as the maid, one of the maids? Claudia Wells.
Claudia Wells. So, yeah, Jennifer is important. Not so much in this movie, but in later movies. And they like each other a lot, Marty and Jennifer, but that's really all you get from this part. And he's supposed to take her out, but he can't because the car was wrecked, and then he goes back in time. And now, George is a high school nerd who has virtually no friends. Leah Thompson is doing things that she's always told her kids that she never did. Like sitting in park and drinking. And Biff.
I love the scene too where she takes a swig and Marty like looks at her and he's like, "Ma, Jennifer." Not Jennifer, sorry. Whatever her name is. Lorraine.
It's Jennifer Lee.
He just looks over. Oh, it's so funny that he just looks over and he's just like, "Lorraine." What are you doing? And then she immediately lights a cigarette and he's like, "Lorraine."
Yeah.
Michael J. Fox was so goddamn good as Marty McFly.
He is really funny as Marty McFly. So, anyhow, a really big complication of the story is that Lorraine starts falling in love with Marty instead of George. Yeah,
because he fucked up the timeline.
Yes. He fucked up the timeline. How his parents met was George was sightseeing. He was bird watching, he says. In reality, he was peeping on her. That's right.
He was looking at her through a tree. But he fell out of the tree into the road and got hit by a car. Yeah.
And the man who hit him...
yeah. The man who hit him was Lorraine's dad. And so, they feel guilty. They bring him in. They nurse him back to health, for that night. Feed him, give him room and everything. And that's where they first met. That's when he asked her to prom. They went to prom. Had it, and history was writ. But
Doc Brown called it Florence Nightingale syndrome.
Yeah. Yeah, Marty has to go and fuck it up because he does just what Rose does in Doctor Who when she goes back in time and watches her father get hit by a car.
So they ripped this off of modern day Who, didn't they?
No, modern day Who ripped this off of Back to the Future.
I know. It came much later. I'm just joking.
Oh, well, I mean, it's all time travel, so Russell T Davies could have gone back in time and stolen the idea.
That's right. You're right. He could have. Or
he wrote it first.
Or Russell T Davies could have written it, and then Tom Zemeckis went to the future and got it from him.
That's true.
Yeah.
He came and watched that episode of Rose saving her dad and was like, I could do this better.
I could do that better. And this franchise is Zemeckis's sports betting book. The Sports Almanac.
Sports Almanac.
The Sports Almanac. Yeah.
Yeah, we on to you now,
We're
Robert.
on to you, Zemeckis.
Oh, man. You're going to have to contact us with a lawsuit because we know what's up. Don't do that, actually.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Please don't.
We love you, and we did not mean to slander you.
Yeah, I won't take this to anybody important. Nobody has to know. It's just between us.
This is just a movie review. Let's do a closing statements on this movie.
Well, we can't do a closing statement.
Why not?
We just got...
It's we've been talking about it for 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, hold on a second. Let's finish it up then.
Actually.
Let's just finish it up. He fucked up the timeline. He saved his dad.
He's gonna be his own daddy.
And now his mom has the hots for him.
That's right.
And you got this beautiful fucking weird ass Oedipus complex that's going on. And it's so well handled.
It's so fun.
I guess this will be my closing statement. I'll roll it into my closing statement. It's so well done. Everything is well done. Like, Robert Zemeckis, I don't know how crazy mapped out his board had to be, where he had all the timeline plot points and who knew what and who's motivated by what. That had to be so fucking crazy to look at, because there's so much going on in this movie. Like, and not just in the foreground. There's the iconic, the mall where Doc Brown goes to film his test of the time machine. In present day, it is called Two Pines Mall or whatever, Twin Pines Mall. Well, when Marty goes back to the past, he runs over the iconic pine tree twins. One of them, he runs over one of them, and when he goes back to the future, the mall is now called Lone Pine Mall. It's he's changed the future, and it's like they don't hover on the mall. They don't show this shot for a very long time and hope you figure it out. They don't point it out. Right. They're just, it's just a detail. It's just a passing detail. Yeah. And Robert Zemeckis did so much attention to detail. His time laws make so much sense. He stays by them. He does not break his rules in this movie. When the timeline starts getting erased, Marty starts getting erased.
That's right.
Literally and figuratively. He has a photo of him and his siblings, and you start to watch that slowly fade away as he fucked up the timeline. And it's, it's not an immediate thing. He still has a chance to fix it, and so therefore he hasn't popped out of existence completely. Mm-hmm. And so that's why, that's the crux of the movie, is he's trying to fix his timeline so he doesn't disappear. And the acting from Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, phenomenal. Their chemistry is perfect. They make a great duo to helm these films.
Even Crispin Glover and
oh my god,
Marty.
Yeah,
it's great. He's always such a character. But this is the Crispin Glover role. I don't care what you say.
Come on, it's that Friday the 13th movie. No, you know it is.
No, it's this. Where's the bottle?
That's his iconic role. What you talking about? No, it obviously is Back to the Future, but no, I love that other role so much. But no, he's wonderful too. Him and Leah Thompson both are great. Biff, as we've already mentioned, lovable bully. Gotta love it. Everything about this movie's fucking perfect. It's so much fun. It's literally a 4-star movie. I will watch it any fucking time anybody wants to. They just have to tell me and I'm sitting down for it.
Yeah, I think that's probably true, even though I have seen it literally more times than I know. Probably at least 100 times. Not a joke. It was a good, solid couple years that I literally watched it on repeat. Literally. Until I got Revenge of the Sith. Then I threw it in the mix.
Revenge of the Nerds?
Revenge of the Sith. No, if my dad knew I had Revenge of the Nerds, that'd probably be bad.
Oh, man.
So...
All right.
Yeah, I give it a face and a half anytime, as you said.
Hell yeah.
I'd watch this movie. It's a good movie.
Love. Heart emoji.
Yeah. Should we talk about another movie, or should we take a
I think we should take a soda pop break, because I don't think we're going to spend as much time on the next two. We'll still spend a lot of time on them, but I feel like the story will flow much more smoothly from here on. We'll do better. We'll do better.
Okay. I don't know.
Please keep listening.
I don't know. Are we truly capable? Please stick around to find out. We're going to take a soda pop break.
I think it's golden. If they like chaotic ADHD, they'll love us. I love you.
So, I am back from the place that I go to sometimes that is neither in the future nor the past nor the present.
Oh.
It is the fourth part of the fourth dimension.
Welcome back, I think.
Oh,
I think we're ready.
I think we're ready too. Welcome back from the future.
Yay!
We're going
to the past.
Future 2015.
At first.
No. We're going to the future 2015.
Right.
Me and you
which
right
is in
now.
Our past.
No. It's the future.
It will be the future. It is now the future, which is technically the present. And now that's the past. How fleeting is time.
How fleeting is time. I live here in the present. I am conscious. I am...
Sublime.
So this is...
the first movie... Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, the first movie ends with Doc Brown coming...
That's right.
From the future back to the present to warn Marty that something's got to be done about his kids in the future.
Yeah. Is there something wrong with our future? No, Marty. It's your kids. They're out of control. Yeah, I don't think he says that.
Something's got to be done about them.
And then he uses his Mr. Fusion, which runs on trash. And I love that.
Yes.
And there's probably something that had been shut down that possibly does something similar, but not fusion. That's
right.
Hard.
No, not to make plutonium-like speed.
No.
Oh.
But
no.
Cars that run on trash, hell yeah, I'm sure that they can do that. They got one that run on
do that.
Grass clippings.
You know what? Let's just go straight from trash to nuclear waste. Let's just go super fast. Let's make sure we just get where we need to go.
It's like all the cars are inflatable, like, clean bubbles that, like, are separate from the generator of power. And it is a law to wear a hazmat suit with it. That's
wherever you go.
Wherever you go, that's the law. Anyone between the age of 0 and 99. That's what the law says specifically. If you're 100 years old, do what the fuck you want. You made it this far. Everyone's irradiated. We're really surprised. So you could do whatever you want.
You're mostly microplastics anymore. It's all right. Jesus. But yeah, part 2. They go to the future. Shit's really cool back in 2015.
Yes, it is.
Not accurate at all. They did predict some things, but not a lot of things. And that was the thing, is Robert Zemeckis, he came into this movie literally saying that they didn't try to predict 2015.
Right.
They just wanted it to be funny.
Yeah.
And that's what they shot for.
And it was.
And it's great.
It
was hilarious. You sure can hydrate a pizza, Mom. In the future, we find older Marty has succumbed to gambling, kind of, in a way. He's indebted to people.
That's true. He's a loser.
He's a loser. Yeah.
In this movie, we develop the classic hero trope, tragic flaw that he cannot be called a coward. Now, more specifically, it's a chicken in this movie.
Yeah.
He can't let that stand. He can't let somebody think he's chicken. So, Marty's tragic flaw.
Yep, which wasn't set up in the first one.
Not at all.
I don't know why.
He can play guitar in the first one, and that's cool.
Right.
So he doesn't
need it's really awesome.
He doesn't need to establish that.
Yep. No, that's one of the weird things, though, is it's just like they didn't really have... I don't know if they had these two films in mind when they first made the first one. They made part 2 and part 3 back to back. Like, they just filmed it all in one go. It was like a whole year-long adventure for all of them. But, like, this one is... part 2 is, like, a couple years later from part 1. and we got replacements in the cast. Elizabeth Shue now plays Jennifer, and then they replaced George McFly as well. That's Jeffrey Wiseman.
What?
Yeah, you didn't know that was not Crispin Glover in part 2 and 3?
Well, he's not in 3, is he? I don't think he's in 3 at all.
Very, very briefly, I think. I think there's like one shot that they refilmed from the first movie.
I do know that David Letterman basically single-handedly ruined Crispin Glover's career. And that always pissed me off.
Yeah, he's got a lot of shitty things in his past. David Letterman does.
Yeah. So like he does that thing. That thing sometimes where he would, if he thought something was too weird, he'd just walk right off the set. Well, he did that when Crispin Glover was showing him some kind of project Crispin was working on, and it was strange, to be fair. And really, Crispin was taking a pretty big risk of expressing this on live television. But yeah, he walked away, and like the guy didn't work for like forever.
Jeez, that's dickish.
Yeah, he gets work. He gets work done now, so
that's good.
Yeah.
Still sucks because he's a fucking saint, but well. I shouldn't say saint, but he's great as an actor. He's a fun actor.
Very fun. Yes, very strange always. But I love it.
But yeah. Part 2 and 3 is played by Jeffrey Wiseman, doing his best Crispin Glover impression.
I also didn't notice that they replaced Jennifer. They got somebody that looked a lot like her.
And I think, I don't know specifics, but like Elizabeth Shue is known for a lot. Like she's a good actor, and she has a bigger role in part 2. Jennifer does, because she's taken to the future along with Marty,
right? And
because it's her future that's in peril.
It concerns her too.
Yeah, yeah, because like. With everything that's going on, you find out in this movie that Jennifer and Marty got married had kids.
That's right.
And those kids are also played by Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
I never knew. Shit. So it's Marty McFly Jr. and Marlene McFly.
Oh my god.
And throughout all of my childhood, I never knew that Marlene, his daughter, was also played by Michael J. Fox. I watched it just like 2 or 3 days ago, and I was just like, I was watching the screen and everything, and she came on, and I was like, wow, man, they really did a good job with it. Like, is that Michael? And I was just lost for like minutes. I'm just like, that's Michael. Like, I didn't realize that he played all of his fucking kids.
Oh my god, Marlene's performance is so over the top. It's great though. Like it blends right in with the set and everything.
And see, that's that was the beauty of this movie. The first movie is just a great standalone sci-fi time travel epic kind of thing.
Yeah.
This movie did a lot of technological awesomeness,
right?
Which was pretty seamless on-screen appearances of the exact same actor.
Yeah.
So you have many times where Michael J. Fox is playing 2 or 3 different characters and they're all on screen together, and things happen where they will physically pass objects back and forth between their characters so that it looks, you're left wondering like, how did they do this? It's just like, that's not a stand-in. They're both Michael J. Fox.
There's flying cars and they're flying through a cloud, the rain of a cloud in a cloud. Yeah. I always was impressed by that scene, but I do think that the fact that it was extremely wet and rainy really sold the effects. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, you can bring the cars in on either lifts or wires, but it's a lot of fun.
I feel like what they did was they probably just filmed it on a green screen set. Maybe. And then just, just had did exactly what you do with the Millennium Falcon, which is close angles, and, you can throw the weather on it as you need from outside of the camera angle. Like, it's really well done. Like, it looks good.
It looks great. So that honestly brings me to Biff, because he sees the DeLorean take off and he's like, that's a flying DeLorean. And this is old man Biff, by the way. And he's like...
Oh, yeah. In the future.
Yeah, that's right. And he's like, I haven't seen a flying DeLorean since 1985? Wait a minute. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, he remembers. Yeah, that's right, because at the beginning of part 2, when they take off to go to the future, when Doc Brown, Marty, and Jennifer leave, he comes running out and sees them take off. That's right. I forgot about that.
And so he ends up stealing the DeLorean, unbeknownst to Marty and the Doc, because he's only gone for like a few minutes in their timeline. But he goes back to 1955 and gives a sports almanac with a bunch of sports statistics from the year 1950 through 2000. And it was Marty's idea to buy this, to, get ahead a little bit. But Doc Brown is like, that's unethical. Biff gets a hand. Biff. Is it Biff?
Yeah, Biff.
Okay. That sounded wrong for a minute. It's Griff in the future, yes, but I was thinking Duff or
Griff
Buff.
in the past.
Griff in 2000.
Isn't it Griff in the past? Oh, no, it is Griff in the future. That's his kid. Griff in the future, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then in the past, it is, oh my God.
Buford or something.
It's Buford.
Buford.
A real name.
Buford Tannen. Biff's real. I'm going to name my kid Biff just to piss you off.
Well, that's great. So, your kid will love you for that.
I know, right? He'll grow up knowing that his hero should be a bully.
Oh, God, no. All right, so Biff does that in secret, but they don't, know that. So they go back to 1985 after they collect Jennifer. And they find out it's all fucked up, that Biff is in charge and shit. They find out what he did after they find out that Biff killed George in this timeline and basically forced Lorraine to marry him and get cosmetic surgery and sent all the kids out to boarding school.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really fucked.
Fucking dark.
Yeah, it's really fucked. Biff is not a good guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the first movie we didn't talk about it, but there is an attempted rape. He tries to rape.
This is true.
Lorraine.
Yeah,
and at the prom, and that's when George steps in and cold clocks him out. That's
right.
And they kind of pass it off like it's kind of weird how in the future he's shining their cars and everything, and I mean they treat him how he used to treat them, like a bully. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I'm just like, I don't know, if he tried to rape your wife, I won't even keep him around just to bully him. I would distance myself from that fucker.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
It's weird. Yeah. It is weird.
It is weird.
But it makes for a very entertaining story still as Biff, takes advantage of, he knows what the DeLorean does now. He watched it happen.
Right. He's not a complete idiot, even though he really is. And so, yeah, they figure out what he did, and they end up again back in 1955. And we gotta wait until we get to the third movie to talk about what you said the other day. That just kind of blew my mind. So
there's a lot of DeLoreans in one place at one time.
Yes, there really are, and it's great. So they figure out. Long story short, I think, and get it back from Biff without running into themselves and ruining their other restoration of the timeline.
It's very tense, very enthralling.
That's right, yeah. The whole time Marty keeps on asking the Doc, hey, what's going to happen to Jennifer? We left her off on her porch, and it's not even her porch. And he's like, well, when we go back, after we do this and go back to 1985, it'll be fine. And, Jesus, it's
yeah, he really just left her. He has no care whatsoever for Jennifer. No. He just knows that Marty's important. That's
very
really all
much a Rick Sanchez move. It's it'll be a completely different Jennifer by the time we get there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's fucked up. It really is. But we say it's fucked up, but he knows. Well, actually, no, because that's the very future version of Doc Brown. Never mind. I was about to say something about the third movie, but then I was like, no, I don't think it's still fucked up. That's all it comes down to.
Yeah.
Because they do that in the future, too. They do that in the future where they literally just leave her with some boxes, like, in an alley.
He knocks her out, too. Like, he gives her, like, this, like, really weird future light roofie stick that Men in Black stole. Or did they steal it from Men in Black?
Oh. Robert Zemeckis went to the future and stole the idea.
He did.
He stole a lot of ideas.
He did. You sneaky boy with your DeLorean. So.
We got you.
We got you this time. So, yeah, what was I saying? God damn it. They solved the problem, basically. But, right when... We didn't even talk about the lightning in the first one. How he gets... Well,
I know, right?
Yeah. So, there's a clock tower that gets struck. That's not that important. But to get the energy that they can't get from the plutonium that doesn't exist yet, they get shot with lightning on purpose to send him back to the future. And now in this one, Doc Brown at the very end gets hit by lightning and sent in the past, we learn, because he sent a letter to Marty to be delivered at that moment in time. And the post office man is like, hey, there's been wagers going on for years on whether or not somebody will actually be here. But here you go. It's nice to meet you, Marty.
Yeah. That finale is so fucking iconic.
Yes.
Like, it's so goddamn funny because Marty thinks he's dead.
Right.
Marty just like saw the DeLorean get struck by lightning and then it just poofed out of existence.
Yeah, I love so when the DeLorean like goes off and does the time travel, it makes flame tracks on the road. I love that it did like a little curly Q1 in the sky.
Yeah,
it's so fucking funny.
It's like double S's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. And then like and then like there was like a string attached to it, like a long rope of like a little banner that you would see at a carnival kind of thing, and that comes fluttering down very sadly and then like lands on the ground, and like you think it's like, oh god, Doc's dead, you know, but then he comes up and the guy comes up to deliver the letter, and I just love Michael J. Fox's reaction. It's so fucking perfect. Don't you know what this means? He's alive! The dog's alive! He's stuck in 1885, but he's alive! It's so funny. He just goes nuts.
Let's do...
Like, that poor guy, like, watching on just had to be like, I don't know what's going on. This is not the way
this is not what I expected, but... maybe we should have expected time travel after waiting 100 years to deliver this package.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
My God. All right. Closing statements. I like it. It's really good. The concept, the storytelling is all beautiful. It's continuing from the last one in a really good way. It's doing a really damn good setup for a finale for a trilogy.
Right.
It is a little overstuffed. There's a lot to this one. It doesn't really hurt the entertainment value, but just because it does replay that first movie so much, but from different angles and from different point of views and everything, it can get confusing if you're just wanting to watch casually, because it can get a little...
You can't really watch this movie without the first one. That's definitely true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's funny, it's fun, and I give it 3 stars.
I give it a full face. I don't think I will give it a full face and a half, but it is hard to imagine me watching the original without watching the other two. So, it does have a lot of rewatchability, but it might... I mean, I think it might be my least favorite of the two.
That's fair.
I love all 3 of them, so... What can I say?
It falls smack down in the middle for me. I think I'm going to say they get worse as they go, but it's not. They don't get worse at all.
That's also fair.
Less perfect.
This was my brother's favorite one. Yeah,
good.
I think all opinions are fair.
Don't cancel us. All opinions are fair.
All opinions are fair. So, Back to the Future 3. We're going to the Wild, Wild West. So the whole time they were in California, I don't know if we said that, But
No.
they're in California, and yeah, Doc gets sent back in time, and
He's always wanted to go to the Wild West.
that's right. He writes this letter to and be a blacksmith too, and that's what he's doing while he is also trying to maybe figure out a way to get home. However, he decides that it's not going to work out because he just isn't going to be able to get the parts that are necessary to rebuild it because they wouldn't exist until the 50s. Luckily, Doc Brown existed in the 50s. And so, in fact, that is who helped in the first movie Marty get back to the future.
Right.
So, Marty goes back and finds him again. And he's like, "What are you doing here? Who did I just send to the future?" Oh,
yeah, it's really beautiful. That poor guy, like he had, like his whole world was rocked at the end of the second movie because it's like he thinks he succeeded in sending Marty back to his present.
Got
Marty's
struck
present
by
day.
lightning to do it.
Yeah, exactly. His hair is all static, shocked up, like it always is, but now it's even more strict. But yeah, and then Marty comes out of the blue and he's like, "You did succeed, but I'm back from the future." poor Doc Brown is just out. He hits the ground. He's like, "I can't."
Yeah, and
there's a limit for everybody.
And it's this. There's this really cute scene where they wake up in Doc Brown's 1950 home. And apparently he had a mansion back then and a family fortune, but he spent it all on his experiments and stuff. And he basically lives in like this overstuffed garage laboratory now, if I recall, in 1985. He probably does whatever the fuck he wants now that he's got a time machine. But anyways, we don't know what he does in between when he goes to the future and then comes back to pick him up at the very end of the first movie. We don't know. Some time passes. He gets some work done.
He might have done a lot of shit.
We do know that back in 1985, after he's given up, he buried the DeLorean, and we'll get back to that. He buried the DeLorean, and he asked Marty not to come back. But a few days after he wrote the letter, he gets shot and killed over some money. Marty
stumbles upon his gravesite in 1955.
That's right.
Along with 1955 Doc Brown.
That's right.
And he's just like, "Doc, you gotta look at this." Yeah. And they take a photo of it. So that's our photo element of this one when he goes back to 1885.
That's a pretty big coincidence that Doc Brown was buried at the cemetery that he buried the DeLorean at. But I guess it would make sense if it was near the town that he was at. But I would think that he would bury it somewhere that was a little bit farther away.
Well, I think like after a while, he's kind of just stuck with doing what happens. Because it's like there's certain parts of his future that he knows.
Yeah.
And there's certain parts of his past, or not past, but like there's certain things that he knows happened.
Right.
Just because he came across his future selves or something.
Right.
And so it's just like, I think that was one of those facts is he knew that, it's like this DeLorean doesn't work, so I have to bury it here.
I also forgot about the logistics of actually moving a DeLorean that does not power up.
Has no... Yeah, that's right. He would have to have some horses.
Also, like, they had to, like, siphon the old gas out and put new gas in it in 1955 because that gas would not... It would not run the same.
Well, that one ran on the trash, I think.
That was the flux capacitor. Doc Brown in this movie says the DeLorean always ran on gas. Because they lose the gas. But that
one also was able to fly, I believe. And I think in the future he might have had it built for something other than gas.
Right, but did the gas...
Who knows?
Do the hover system. Doesn't matter. They can't get back because Michael J. Fox ruined the gas tank and the DeLorean. And so they're fighting against Buford Tannen. Biff's like great-great-grandpa or something. And that is the person who will shoot Emmett Brown. God, this is hard to talk about, isn't it?
It's time travel, man. It gets fuckery do.
And so Leah Thompson is there along with another Michael J. Fox character. That is, they play the McFlys, an Irish immigrant family. The first,
oh my god,
yeah, and eventually there will be. This is who Marty McFly was descended from. And they're very nice people, and they help Marty out because he comes dressed like a fool under the advisement of Doc Brown. And it's really funny because Doc Brown's like, what idiot dressed you? And he's like, well, you did, Doc.
Well, he still had his Nikes on, too. Like, he forgot to switch his shoes. Or
well,
he didn't have time to switch his shoes.
He brought him in. He packed him in the DeLorean and drove off and time traveled and ran right into a stampeding tribe of Native Americans. Yeah. So
I love that scene too. I mean, it's dated in its language, of course.
Yes, of course.
This whole film has that issue where it's dated with racist undertones, and not purposefully. I don't think Robert Zemeckis ever intended anything wrong. It was just the times.
If anything, it was to address how they treated people at the times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I love that scene though because it's like once he lands, he just has all these Native Americans and he screams about it. He's like, "Oh my god!" And then he hides. And then as he's hiding, he once all the Native Americans pass, he pops up and then there's white men coming on horses and he's like, "The cavalry!"
Yeah.
My brother and I would do that all the time when it's just something would happen. We'd just be like, "The cavalry!"
Nice. So yeah, it's basically they do a very similar story except for it's Wild Wild West, and they also mix it with whichever one of those Clint Eastwood movies it is that he uses the iron bulletproof vest thing, the oven, the cast iron.
Oh yeah, yeah. I love that moment.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah, because Marty McFly, he doesn't call himself Marty McFly in the past. He goes by Clint Eastwood.
He goes by Clint Eastwood. That's right. And in fact, when he's in the 1950s, he's Kevin Kline. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because of his underwear. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's funny shit. They apparently had to reach out to Clint Eastwood and asked him, it's like, would it be okay if we used your name?
Right.
And I guess he was pleased as the peach or whatever, however that saying goes.
Sure.
He's peachy keen.
Keen on the idea. Well, I don't know really what else to say about it necessarily because the rest of the story that goes on. Oh, no, I know what we have to talk about. Claire, what are we doing? The most important part of this film, I think.
Yeah. The weird romance with Doc Brown.
You think
it's not weird. It actually works really well.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Who is she? She's a very famous person. I forget.
Mary Steenburgen.
Mary
Steen.
Okay, Mary
Steenburgen.
She plays a school teacher who named Claire Clayton, right? And Clara Clayton. That is much better than Claire Clayton, gotta say. So Clara Clayton almost dies, but is saved by Doc Brown, and they instantly fall in love with each other. And Doc Brown has never had a romantic interest in his life. And now he's all of a sudden very much in love with this woman. They both love Jules Verne. I love all the Jules Verne stuff.
He mentioned in the second movie Doc Brown did that he's just the two mysteries of life or whatever. He wanted to experience the two mysteries of life, and one of them had to do with the Old West, and the other one had to do with women. So that's how they set up the third one.
They sure did. They did set it up. And this relationship is strange because he's trying to go back to the future with Marty. and they're going to rob a train to do it.
It's good. It's good. It's weird. Like, I do like this one, but it sticks out because it's so very different. Like, if you look at the first two movies, they are a cohesive pairing. You know, they're very similar. But I mean, they went to the future in the last one, so it's like obviously they're going to go to the past in this one. That just makes sense. And I get their choice. I get doing it, but it does make this whole movie seem so different than the first two. But it's funnier. That's one of its things that it's got going for it. Is it's a lot funnier. The whole cast wanted to do a Western.
They are all super into it. You can tell. They're super into it.
I mean, the idea came from when they were filming the first movie. I can't remember if it was Zemeckis who asked Michael J. Fox, but somebody asked Michael J. Fox, it's like, if you had a DeLorean, what would you want to do? Or like, what kind of film would you want to make or whatever? And he was just like, I want to do a Western. You know, he's like, I want to go to the Old West. You know, he's like, I think that'd be a lot of fun. And that's where they came up with the idea. And they talked to all the cast, and the cast was super on board. Everybody wanted to do a Western. And they did it right. They built their own really Western set. You know, it's like, if you're going to do a Western, you got to build your own little shanty town. I mean, it's not a shanty town, but like tiny town like that, like always in the Westerns. And they did it. They built the whole set. The effects are just as good, you know, because you have Michael J. Fox playing two different characters on screen at the same time, and he does it pretty well. And this one's even a little more advanced than the last one because they themselves are physically passing things back and forth. They pass something between each other, whereas in the last movie, the effects would happen around them, where it's like, you know, Michael would be on screen at the same time, but another character would walk across between them, so that, you know, it's not two different takes. It's like, you know, it all worked so fluidly, so well. This one had just like a little more advanced because they pass a plate back and forth between each other because they're at the dinner table eating. Yeah. And it's really good. It's another one of those things where it's like Robert Zemeckis is so good at doing these cinematic things that, you know, if you're not really paying attention to it, you're not thinking about it. But if you're like us, and, you know, we've thought about filmmaking, we've worked on films, you know, as we watch this stuff, we're sitting there going like, man, there's so much work that went into this shot alone. It's really good.
This is true. Another one thing that you reminded me of was, would you like a glass of water, Mr. Eastwood? Oh, yeah, sure.
He's doing this weird accent through the whole movie. It works. It's funny.
Yeah.
It's just, man.
But
it's so good.
Yeah, but then they pour the water and it's just like fucking brown and red. It's gross.
Yeah. Oh, and then he's just like looking at it for a while, and he's like, "Yeah, I understand why people didn't make it beyond 60 years old." You know.
So did you? I'm sorry. Did you do a closing statement?
That was technically my closing statement. Like it's for me, it's the least of the three because it sticks out so much, because it's so different. I like a good period piece, but like this really did just feel like a episode of Bonanza. Kind of, it has that kind of quality to it. The attention to detail is still there. The storytelling, the concept, the overstuffed storytelling specifically, it's all still there. And it's still really well handled by Robert Zemeckis. So I'll give it a 3, just like the second one. Nice. But it is the least of the 3 for me.
That is fair. It's another 100% full-face movie. Like I said before, I can't imagine watching one of these and not watching the others, like, not necessarily right after each other, but, you know, in the same week or something like that. It's hard to imagine not being drawn to do that. But it's not quite a face and a half movie, which I think makes it pretty obvious that I choose the first one to win. But I do really love this movie. I think that when you do time travel, like, you gotta do something in the past, and they did the 1950s in the first one. But I enjoyed it being a Western. I thought it was it definitely is like, hey, this is the third one. It's going to be the most buck
Right.
wild. But honestly, the second one is more buck wild. Like,
Yeah, the second one's way more crazy. Like,
Yeah.
they really did set this one up to be crazy, but they went very subdued in regards to
it's
pretty much everything.
fairly realistic in the past. It's like there's really funny jokes like about bringing modern concepts into, you know, the Wild West. Like, you know, the moonwalk.
That was a fun scene.
That's a good scene.
Oh man!
I hate the ending of
and
this
then
scene.
the voice effects for that was the guy from Police Academy 4 during that scene.
Yep.
Have you ever seen Police Academy?
Yes.
I can't remember that guy's name.
Well,
right now.
I've seen enough to know who you're talking about, but I don't know the guy's name.
Oh, I gotta figure out what his name is though. He's so amazing at doing.
In the show, his name's Sound Effect, I think.
Michael Winslow.
Yeah.
Michael Winslow. He did the sound effects for that moonwalk scene, or the moonwalk scene that Michael J. Fox does. It's hilarious. That man is golden for his sound effects.
Yeah,
like if anybody
crazy.
was able to do any kind of weird sound, it was him.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I think we did it. I think that's the show. Yeah. I think we both agree.
It's jumbled. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's exactly what you need when you think of a classic movie, I think. I think
we confused everybody too, and that's what we should be doing.
That's what we should be doing. Go watch the movies if you want to be less confused or more. It depends.
More confused.
Okay.
More confused.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
You'll be watching them in your future, but at the time that you're watching them, it'll be the present.
And our past is now.
And our past. Indeed. I was, and forever shall be the Green Traveler from Gorsh.
And I may or may not be the Faceless Leone. Safe travels, and good night. Green and Faceless on the Couch is a proud production of FictionWorks 19. Are you a fan of the show? Feel free to contact us at greenandfacelessfans@gmail.com or visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/greenandfaceless. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, or rate us on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much for listening.